What's going on, guys? This is Shady of Lightning back with another video. Now before I get started with this video, I would like to say a few things. Ever since the time skip, Oda has had a lot of key fights and moments just off-screen. For instance, the chapter where Odin and Ashura Doji first meet in the Odin flashback, where they had an epic clash and Odin was the clear winner as we see him sitting on top of Ashura Doji whilst he's all bloodied up and has arrows stuck on his body. Ashura Doji is a hype character among the fanbase because firstly, he's one of the 9 scabbards, and secondly, he wrecked Jack when he fought him for that brief moment before the mad drunk Kaido turned up in his dragon form. He got the better of Jack. He sliced Jack's weapon in half and made him bleed, which was amazing to see because Jack is a Yonko commander and one of the calamities, so he's pretty respected, but Ashura got the better of him. And with Odin, what more can I say? He clashed with Whitebeard and made Whitebeard sweat. What more do you want me to say? And he had several feats before he even clashed with Whitebeard, which made him already a monster, like when he sliced that giant mountain pig. That was already impressive, so to see these two monsters in Ashura Doji and Odin fight out would be amazing to see for us fans, but Oda decided to off-screen the fight. Now, as amazing as that fight would have been, and we all pretty much predicted that Odin will be the winner of that fight, I get where Oda is coming from when he's making these characters fight off-screen. If Oda were to show us everything that happened off-screen from the very beginning of One Piece, we would still be in the pre-time skip saga. Because remember back in Arlong Park, we were already hearing about Jinbei making moves against the world government. All the way back then, there was moves being made by these big characters and they were already made off-screen, all the way at the start of the East Blue saga. Oda doesn't need to show us everything, sometimes less is more. Our imaginations will take over, and just for the pacing of the story, there will be moments that need to be fast-forwarded and skipped. I know it can be frustrating because we got to miss out on some epic clashes, but we need to understand, as a fanbase, Oda is getting older now, he can't drag the story out longer than he needs to. But having said that, there have been some epic clashes over the years in One Piece that have been off-screened, and here is my top 5. Number 5. Revolutionary Army vs Fujitora and Green Bull in Marijoa. Now, I know it wasn't the whole Revolutionary Army, it was just Sabo and a few others versus Fujitora and Green Bull. This off-screen clash was quite recent in the story. There's so much intrigue and mystery with this one because we haven't seen how Green Bull even looks like, and we haven't seen guys like Morley, Limburg and Karasu fight or even be tested yet. Hell, even Fujitora, we haven't even seen him tested to the max in a fight. He was having a laugh against Luffy. He wasn't taking the fight seriously, so a fight between 2 admirals and 4 Revolutionary Army commanders would have made a solid brawl in Marijoa. And judging with all the news with Sabo flying around and all the characters' reactions, I can safely say that it was the admirals who won in this fight. But nonetheless, I'm pretty sure we'll be getting more information about the details of this fight pretty soon. Number 4. Whitebeard vs the Roger Pirates in chapter 966. Okay guys, like I pointed earlier, I get why Oda does some of his fights off screen, and I agree he should be doing this for the sake of the pacing of the story. However, the Roger Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates were fighting for 3 days straight. How can you not want to know what happened in those 3 days? Who was fighting who? Did Marco and Jose and Vista, did they all gang up on Skopagarbon and Rayleigh? Did Rayleigh and Odin have a one-on-one fight? Didn't Shanks and Marco have a one-on-one fight? And Marco had his Phoenix Devil Fruit at the time, so that would have been interesting to see. And of course, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Gold Roger himself, or should I say Gold D. Roger versus the Father of the Sea, Whitebeard. Their haki was so intense that their swords didn't even touch from what we saw in chapter 966. Now imagine them both going at it at full strength. Gold Roger in that same chapter sent Odin flying and made him bleed in one attack. And Whitebeard at the time had his Gura Gura no Mi as well. Oh man, those two probably had their own fight in a separate part of the island and their crews were fighting on the other side of the island. That's how overpowered these two monsters are. These two definitely deserve their legendary status in the One Piece world. Number 3. The Payback War between the remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates versus the Blackbeard Pirates. This war was personal. Blackbeard, the backstabbing scumbag that he is, leading a war against his former crewmates that he was part of for a few decades at least. That's crazy. Just imagine someone you grew up with just ended up killing one of your family members. That's essentially what happened with the Whitebeard Pirates. Teach was there since he was a kid. Same with Marco, Vista and Jozu. They all literally grew up together. Marco was the acting leader of the Whitebeard Pirates, and Teach obviously the leader of the Blackbeard Pirates. Marco was there when they picked up Teach and got him into the crew when he was a kid. Teach begged them to take him, and then he kills Thatch, then gets Ace captured, which then leads to the deaths of Ace and Whitebeard. The backstory in this feud alone could have its own movie or even a spin-off. That's how much detail and story Oda put in. I wouldn't mind seeing it as a movie, if I'm honest. I would love that. But then again, in a way, keeping it off screen is still a good move, because we just saw the Whitebeard Pirates and their allies lose in the Marineford War. There probably would have been more deaths and casualties if Shanks hadn't intervened and arrived when he did, because Akainu was going on a rampage and Blackbeard just got the Gura Gura no Mi. So who knows what could have happened if Shanks didn't intervene. Nico Robin also said that the Whitebeard Pirates suffered a crushing defeat to the Blackbeard Pirates, which is not a surprise, but seeing them lose twice in a row would be too much to handle. We don't need to see them lose again, that's all I'm saying. If we actually see them getting battered, we may end up losing respect and credibility for the remaining Whitebeard Pirates, which we haven't as a fanbase. I don't think anyway, but yeah, we didn't need to see them lose twice in a row, especially to Teach as well, which is probably hurts the division commanders even more for them to lose to him of all people, after all the bullshit and suffering Teach has caused them. Number 2, Qiji versus Akainu. A fight so legendary is said to have lasted 10 days. Well, what do you expect? This is a fight between two admirals after all. What makes this so fascinating is that the devil fruits are the opposites of each other. Hell, their sense of justice and personalities are the opposites of each other as well. Aokiji being lazy justice and Akainu being absolute justice. We saw in the Marineford War that Akainu melted Aokiji's ice when Aokiji turned on one of the tsunamis made by Whitebeard into ice. Akainu's magma fist easily melted Aokiji's ice, so it just makes me wonder how the hell did Aokiji fight Akainu for 10 days straight? Akainu's devil fruit is Aokiji's devil fruit's natural weakness, like how Luffy's rubber devil fruit was Eneru's natural weakness. So what happened? How did he go toe to toe with Akainu? Did he have a strategy to take Akainu out? Don't get me wrong guys, Aokiji was an admiral for a reason. I know he's a top tier fighter in the One Piece world, but seeing these two clash makes me wonder how did Aokiji combat Akainu? That's all. That's my intrigue about this fight, and the fact that it's a fight between two admirals, which we have never seen or heard of about before. I don't think there has been a fight between admirals before in the One Piece world. There could have been, but we just don't know about it. I can imagine the Fodder Marines' reaction when they heard the news of Aokiji vs Akainu. It's like having two Yonkos fighting one another. And speaking of Yonkos, number 1, Shanks versus Kaido before the Marineford War. If there's one fight in the long list of off-screen fights in One Piece, remember guys, I only mentioned my top 5. There's so many fights off-screen, is actually crazy. But the off-screen fight, the one off-screen fight I wish Oda never made off-screen, was Shanks versus Kaido. We still to this very day don't know what happened between the two. These two characters at this current point in time of the story are arguably the two strongest characters in the entire One Piece verse. I've had many debates with my friends about who is the strongest out of Shanks and Kaido. Me personally, I'm leaning towards Shanks because I believe Shanks has hidden abilities that we are not even aware of yet in the story. I have my own theories on what these abilities could be, so stay tuned for those videos. But anyway, back to this. Guys, from what we have seen from Kaido, does Kaido look like a guy that you could just go up to and try and start reasoning with him? Look what happened between him and Big Mom back in Onigashima. As soon as Kaido saw Big Mom, he started attacking her, and they both had a long fight. And don't forget, Kaido is a mad drunk as well. His mood swing changes all the time. He can go from depression to happy to angry to depression. It changes all the time. Remember the time when Shanks and Whitebeard met up? They eventually clashed, but it was never stated that they had a fully fledged fight at that time. But that's the thing, they were having a civil discussion before they had their disagreement. Kaido would even let Shanks have a conversation. He would start attacking him ASAP because remember, Kaido was trying to intervene in the Marineford War. He wanted to kill Whitebeard, but Shanks stopped him. Can you imagine Shanks with one arm going up against Kaido in his dragon form, or even Kaido in his normal human Oni form? I think that clash between Shanks' sword and Kaido's Oni Club would have mirrored that of Roger and Whitebeard. Their Conqueror's haki is so intense they don't even need to clash to cause mass destruction to the surrounding area. Shanks' haki damaged Whitebeard's ship and Kaido one-shotted Gear 4 Luffy. Can you imagine a fight between these two? It's legitly a modern day version of Roger versus Whitebeard. You might think it could have been Shanks and his whole crew stopped Kaido, but remember, Shanks went on board Whitebeard's ship by himself. He was the one also who stopped the Marineford War whilst his crewmates were still on Shanks' ship, the Red Force. He was already on the battlefield stopping the war. So with these examples alone, I'm confident in saying that it was a 1v1 between Shanks and Kaido. It might not have been a long fight because we saw Shanks in Marineford, he didn't look like he took any damage from the clash. So who knows how long their fight actually was. But yes, a fight between the two strongest pirates in the world and who are in their prime would have been unbelievable to see. And I wish Oda will mention what happened between these two, because he never even touches upon what happened between the two. I mean, he doesn't need to anymore, but it would be nice, that's all I'm saying. I mean, for all we know, Shanks probably just challenged Kaido into a drinking contest. Whoever wins goes to Marineford. I mean, would you guys seriously be surprised if that happened? Oda being the comedic writer that he is, I would not be surprised if that's what actually happened. I still wouldn't mind seeing that though, it would be jokes to see. This channel will be uploading more One Piece content. We will be doing theories, reviews, and many more when it comes to One Piece. But guys, don't worry, we haven't forgot about Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! We will continue to upload those as well, so please stay tuned for those videos. And as I always say at the end of my videos, care for nothing.